Hi everyone, my name's Kamal, and for this supply chain management project, I did it on a local dealership known as Bob Johnson Chevrolet. I also have been working there for the past 4 years, so I just thought it was perfect to do it on the dealership. All right, so with the first slide, it's basically topics of discussions. Um, I'll be briefly discussing about the dealership and the history of it. Give a brief list of other locations, the different departments in the dealership, customers and how we handle customer service, how we handle newly launched products and vehicles, and our management team at the end of the presentation. All right, so a brief history of the dealership. The original owner of the Bob Johnson Chevrolet dealership was Robert Johnson. He had started the dealership back in 1985. The first dealership was originally located in Buffalo, New York, and had been moved to Rochester, New York in 1985. And that's when he started the dealership, known as Bob Johnson Chevrolet. The main location was set up on Stone Road in Greece and moved to West Ridge Road in 1999, which is the current location and also known as the main hub for all our other locations around New York. Greg Stahl had purchased a dealership from Robert Johnson in March of 2001. And when I started working there, he was the current owner. But the current owner or president of the dealership is now John Love. He had purchased a majority ownership of the dealerships from Greg Stahl around 2018 and 2019. And by then, I was about a year or two in working there. All right, talking about competition. When it comes to the car industry, there's always going to be a lot of competition with all the other manufacturers for vehicles. Um, I realized over time I would consider that, to me at least, Bob Johnson Chevrolet kind of seems like a monopoly at this point. We would buy burned out dealerships and just kind of try to transform them and basically just sell them at a higher price. Currently, on the right side of this slide, you'll see all of our other locations. However, the one that I work at is not listed. That's 1271 West Ridge Road, the one I was talking about in the previous slide. But these are all our other locations. And we recently just had acquired Genesee Valley and even Bob Johnson Subaru, which is out in Brockport, New York. Um, I I do not see us slowing down. I think over time we'll probably end up acquiring a few more dealerships, and it's just nice that we have different selections of vehicles. And I know the one that we work at mainly is Cadillacs, GMCs, Chevrolets. We also have other locations that handle Chryslers, Dodges, Jeeps, and Rams. So it's always nice for our customers to have a variety of vehicles that they could look at whenever they're deciding to purchase or lease. All right, so this is an image of the main location where I work at on West Ridge Road. So I just wanted to set up a couple arrows pointing at the different areas of the location. And in the back, we can see that there's a car lot for new and used vehicles. We also have vehicles parked on the left side of the image or even the front of the location. Um, in the middle is the main lobby. There's also the cashier's desk where I work. There's also the parts department, and you'll also see images for inside the dealership in the next slide. On the right side of the building, we have our service department and our technician shop. Anytime techs are done servicing vehicles, they'll usually park them on the right side of the building. And on the left side of the dealership, we have our sales department and our finance department. And in the back of the left side, there also is a dollop shop for any customers that do purchase vehicles and they'd like accessories put on the vehicles, or all the vehicles are washed and cleaned inside before the customer picks up the new vehicles. All right, so this is an inside view of the dealership. Um, on the left side, top left, is the main lobby, and usually we have a secretary sitting up front. Her name's Doris, and she's always there for help. She's great, and anytime a customer is looking for a specific person or something, she'll be able to direct them in the right direction. And as of now, I know we're all in a COVID protocol. We usually have a shuttle driver for each location, and the shuttle drivers can take customers to their houses or take them to banks or something like that. And if you recently dropped your vehicle off for service, you can get a ride home, or if your vehicle is done in service, you get a ride and get dropped off at the dealership. We also have the nerd department, which is also currently not there due to COVID. But I know everyone's like, "Oh, why is it called the nerd department?" I'm not sure myself. It was like that before I got there. But everyone in the nerd department, great. All they do is help set up the customers with OnStar, and also set up their phones with the Bluetooth in the vehicles, and go over any other technical buttons inside the vehicles. I also pointed at the door in the left image. That's where you go through to the service department. And the bottom left image is a picture of our sales department. The salesperson, his name's Ben. Usually everyone's got their own little cubicles. And the arrow in the back is where the finance department is. I think we have about 4 offices and 4 finance managers in the back. And in the left is the sales manager's desk. That's where, if you don't have an appointment to purchase a vehicle, your best bet is to go talk to a sales manager, and they'll be able to direct you to some of our best salesmen. Um, the bottom right image is also another view of our main lobby. We have the cashier's office, and right next to it is the parts department. Going up the stairs, you can enter the main office, usually where all the accountants are and all the office managers are as well, and the CFO and the owner of the dealership. All right, so I also created a supply chain diagram for day to day sales routines, and obviously, not every day is the same. Usually, it's very busy some days, and some days it's not. Um, for one, I did inbound customers. That's when customers come in to purchase or lease a vehicle. If they had set up an appointment, they may also test drive vehicles. But however, due to COVID, everything's online. All the customers have to make appointments with their sales consultants online and pick a certain a date or time that they come in and possibly test drive the vehicles. 2, operations. The customers will be greeted to a salesperson that they have talked to with on the phone. 3 is interest. And like I said, whatever vehicle that you're looking at, the sales consultant will be able to show any vehicles that we have in stock at any of our locations. And then once you have picked a vehicle, that's when generally everyone will start the paperwork. And 5 is the finance department. The sales consultant will drop you off at the finance department so you can talk to someone in finance. And this is where you talk to them about insurance, talk about financing the vehicle, possible warranties that you want to purchase. And 6 is visiting the cashier. So once everything should be all set and you want to put a down payment on your vehicle, or if you do have a vehicle and you want to make a payment for the month, you'd see the cashiers. And the cashiers can also help set up the auto awards, and I'll get into that a little later in the presentation. But generally, for the auto awards, the salesperson would collect the customer's information and put it on a sheet for enrollment, and the cashiers would enroll them into the program. And finishing sales, once the purchase is complete, the customer will be able to take the vehicle home and start on auto awards when they come in for service. So anytime you come in for service, any amount that you spend, I believe you get 15% of what you spend towards the points, and 1 point is equivalent to $1. And I'll also explain that later in the presentation. And to the right of this slide, I do have an example sales receipt, which is what I also do. And you'll be able to look at it later on and see step by step how the receipt's made. But generally, this has the customer's information, the stock number, which is basically how we identify the vehicle and where it's located, the total, the invoice number, and the date, and the salesperson's name as well. All right, so next I have the service department. In the image to the left, the gentleman in the blue is a service writer. The gentleman in the back is a service technician. And I also pointed an arrow to the door. That's where you can walk through to the parts department and cashier's office. And a little back in the hallway is where the technician shop is as well. Generally, when it's time for service, we highly recommend you coming to Bob Johnson Chevrolet, no matter what vehicle it is. Me working there 4 years myself, I always get my vehicle serviced there, and I've also purchased vehicles from the dealership as well. Uh, like general servicing, we change the oil and filter, check the cabin air filter, and much more. We deal with brake services and repairs. We offer battery testing and complete replacements. They also make sure to discuss every change that they intend to make to the customer's vehicle to keep them informed. We also give them updates. Sometimes, if you give us your cell phone number, we'll also text you updates as well if you get picked up by a friend or something and just wondering generally when the vehicle will be done, or we'll give you a call when it's done as well. Anyone can call us and set up an appointment. We also recently opened up a new building to the right of the main building called a pit stop. So if you don't come to the main building for oil change, you can go to the next building. It's basically like a Valvoline. All you got to do is just drive up, wait your turn, and you can just sit in the vehicle as they do the oil change, and you don't need to set up an appointment for that. All right, so supply chain process for cashiers. Generally, when the customer walks in, we'll just greet the customers, and if they need to pick up a vehicle, we'll also do that. Um, Generally, when the service writers are done servicing the vehicles, they'll hand the cashiers the keys and the paperwork to the cars. So the customers will just come straight to the cashier's desk. Or if the customers are also looking for someone in service or sales, we'll just direct them to whatever direction they need to go. Another thing that the cashiers do are picking up the phone calls. Since we are the main hub, we also get phone calls from other locations. Generally, if someone from those locations don't pick up, they'll just get rerouted back to us. And in the next slide, I will show an image of a call sheet that we usually get, so we know exactly where to send the customers. Cashing the customer out, I also have images later in the presentation of a detailed process on how to cash the customer out. After we're done cashing the customer out, next thing to do, adding auto awards. And like I said, every purchase you do, servicing or buying parts, you always get points added to your account. And 5, I just added is busy work. On slow days, the cashiers will get handed a good amount of work to do. On the side, the cashiers will be able to stock new vehicles for the sales department or file any invoices from the previous day upstairs in the main office. And we've had our busy days and our slow days, but there's always something for cashiers to do. All right. So as I mentioned previously, this is our call sheet. I had to back out all the cell phone numbers due to privacy reasons, but every location is given a call sheet. We also have call sheets for all the other locations as well. Like I said, we do get phone calls for all the other locations, so we know exactly who works at which location. All the employees are given this. Every employee is given a phone as well. So there should be no reason that a customer can't reach an employee. We try our best with the customer service, and even if it takes a while to get a hold of another employee, we try our best so the customer is satisfied. All right. So I just wanted to include a couple images of other invoices. On the left is an example of a service invoice and generally what we'll get from the service writers. Um, on the top right of that invoice is the RO number or the invoice number. It begins with a 100 and then whatever other number. Um, Generally, we'll also include the service writer's name, the VIN number of the vehicle, the customer's phone number, customer's name, their address, what type of vehicle it is. And then in those boxes that you see, they're just descriptions of what the service writers did. And you'll just see the total on the bottom right. And the right image is an example of a parts ticket. This one's not really filled out as much, but anytime a customer wants to buy a part, this is what the parts department will hand the cashiers. And we also handle returns as well for the parts department. The invoice is the same, just the total will be a negative, and we'll just have to give the customer a refund. All right, so all these images may be confusing, but these all have to deal with the cash out process for sales, service, or parts. So the top two pictures on the left, that's for if you wanted to get into a sales receipt. So the very far left, you would see receipt cash. You click on receipt cash, and then those four boxes pop up, and you would do other receipts, and that big image right there that says cash receipts, that will pop up. Anytime you want to do a sales receipt, you click type, and there are various options of types of receipts you can make, but you would click COD, which is basically a deposit for customers. Then you would enter the amount that the customers are depositing. To look up a customer's information, you click on customer and then type their last name, then their first name. The control number and the reference number are the exact same. They're basically the stock numbers, and like I said before, the stock numbers are just identification numbers to see where the vehicle is stocked. And then once you click type, the account number will get shown up, and the account number is basically where the money is getting deposited, so that the accountants upstairs can see where the money is. Uh, for any payments, you click payment method, and then you decide which way the customer is going to pay. If they're paying check, the check number box is right underneath, and you just put the check number in. And then to print out the receipt, you hit post twice, and then it'll print it out, and you give one copy to the customer and one copy to the sales consultant. For the service department and the parts department, they're the bottom two images. The bottom box, you put the invoice number, and that window is what will pop up. You click payment method in whatever way they want to pay. You do it, and hit OK, and then you're done. All right, so the Auto Awards program, as I mentioned previously, the left sheet is the auto enrollment form. All the customers' information should be on there. They'll be given a key tag, and that barcode should have the key tag's number. So anytime a customer comes in, we'll be looking at the Auto Awards member search box right there, and you can put the token number in or the barcode, and the customer's information should pop up. As I mentioned before, 1 point is equivalent to $1. However, no matter how many points you have, each purchase you make, you can only use up to 2,000 points or $2,000 towards each vehicle. I know there are some customers with around 15,000 points or $15,000 worth of points, but you can only use 2,000 at a time. And generally, you can enroll into the Auto Awards only through sales, but if a customer is interested, we'll generally have extra key tags with us and just ask for their information, and the cashiers will be able to enroll them without the sheet. And next is new vehicles. So, like any other manufacturer, there are always some type of vehicle coming out every year. Some of them might be completely designed different, or some of them might just be offering different trims or different colors or selections. When we receive word on new vehicles releasing, all of our sales consultants receive training and in-depth knowledge on each new vehicle. So then, anytime there's a customer that comes in asking some sort of questions, all of our sales consultant knows how to answer them. Customers can always call on informations for new releases. With special vehicles releasing, such as the C8 Corvette, customers can also pre-order their vehicles. Once the sales contract is signed, the dealership is not obligated to take back vehicles. Of course, within the past 4 years that I've been working there, I have not seen a single customer returning a vehicle. I'm assuming unless there was like some major errors with the vehicle, the customer will probably try their best to return the vehicle and get their money back. About a year ago was when the C8 Corvette launched, and Bob Johnson Chevrolet was the first Chevy dealership in New York, I believe, to receive a model of it so then we can show customers. And this is actually the main lobby. We had moved everything around, and we had that Corvette there for a couple of days so everyone can come in and look. And if they wanted to pre order the vehicle, they would talk to their sales consultant or some of the sales managers. The top two vehicles we have the Blazer, and we also have the new Tahoe. So, like I said, there's not going to be much differences each year, but anytime someone's leasing, they're always going to be looking to get something new. And Bob Johnson has a great selection of vehicles. So this last slide, dealership leaders. Uh, to the left, we have John Love, who is the current owner and president. And to the far right, we have Greg Stahl, who is a partial owner of the dealer. And he was the previous owner before Mr. John Love. Robert Scott is also the executive manager, who is also at the main building, and Peter Montante is one of the general sales managers. Throughout the past 4 years, I've seen how hardworking all these men are, and how dedicated they are to satisfying the customers. Um, I've seen no other issues at the dealership, and it's a great location. I was glad I was able to do this project on the dealership and just learn more about it as well and the car industry. And that should be it. Thank you for watching.